I wrote Tom Dooley, a Wilkes County Legend, in 2000, and we opened the show in 2001. So we are now in our, I have to think about it, we're now in our 16th season. We didn't do the show last year. We took a break for 1 year. We've been here at the amphitheater, I think, for about 7 years now. We are in a partnership with the Army Corps of Engineers. We were invited by Terry Ramsey to when he wanted to build an amphitheater. He wanted an attraction here. So we went from stage to outdoor drama, and that took a little while to tweak it and make it a little bigger than life for the outdoors. But it certainly saved us some time, because indoors we had to create the outside, and here it's just so beautiful, and we're right on the lake. And in the middle of the show, for anyone that comes to see it, I encourage you to just look up in the middle of everything, and you'll see the stars, and you're in a blanket of stars watching this show. So it's beautiful. Opening night is Thursday, and it's also a Wilkes County night, so you get $5 off for the price of admission. It's usually $15. And what I guess I would say this year more than anything is that it's so authentic. We have most all of the folks in the, we don't have any imports. Most everyone in the cast is from Wilkes County. And it just really rings true in their performances, in their accents, and if you are from Charlotte or you're from Winston-Salem, then you're gonna get a very different cultural feel when you watch the show. One is it's an unsolved mystery, and because it was Governor Vance came here to defend Tom, he was asked by friends, he was asked by Calvin Coles and Colonel James Horton to come here and defend Tom, and they were all friends of Governor Vance, and he thought that Tom served in his regiment during the Civil War. So he was happy to come here and represent Tom. So you had a celebrity lawyer. That was one of the first things. And then you had people that weren't quite sure who really killed Laura Foster. And there were people that were left with many, many doubts about Tom's guilt or innocence. So that was another thing. And because we had a celebrity lawyer, then we had a reporter that came down from the New York Herald, which is now the New York Times, and he wrote an article about it. And because you didn't have Jerry Springer, or you didn't have some of these talk shows or reality shows to watch, this fascinated people. And what really backs that up is there were over 200 pieces of testimony. People were coming out of the woodwork to testify in this trial, or the two trials, over two different trials. And so they all had an opinion. If you read the court records, the court records conflict. You know, the different pieces, somebody said this, but they all jumped in and had a part in it. So, and my daughter, when I wrote this, she was, she wanted a new dress for some party, and I told her she had to read my script if she wanted it. I just finished it. And so she said, it's a nice story, Mom, you did a good job, but he's not real, is he? And so I started explaining. And it really makes me happy when I see all the young people involved in this, and they now know the story. And a lot of others who come to the show know the story. And, a lot of them still, just like my daughter, will say, this was great. I had no idea he was real. I just thought he was a guy in a song. So it's fascinating, and I'm really proud that we have a part in keeping the legend alive, and I think that's what we really push here on the 150th anniversary. Is we still are working very hard after all these years to make sure people remember this story. And they were so young. They were kids, and you make so many mistakes when you're a kid, and some of those mistakes can absolutely, totally alter the course of your life. And of course, whether it was because Tom was hanging out with a bad crowd, or whether, he misbehaved a little too much, or, whatever it was, between Tom and Ann and Laura and Perline Foster, a lot of bad choices were made, and they couldn't take them back. We have a scene at Lottie's house. One writer that I talked to had told me once, he said, I enjoyed the show, Karen, but as a writer, why don't you just take a leap and let them know what you really think? Because I've left it so that people can make up their own mind at the end. I show different places where any one of these people could be guilty. But I wrote the scene at Lottie's house, which is Ann Melton's mother, the night before the murder. And I just sort of cast a lot of guilt there on other people besides Tom. And because I don't think it was I think it was a group of people. Whether it was part of concealing the body, whether they knew about it and didn't tell anyone about it, or they actually participated in the murder and buried her. I think that there were several people involved, and a lot of people walked free.
Hang your head, Tom Dooley, hang your head and cry. Kill poor Laura Foster